All right, welcome back to our training sessions on Google Sheets. And so we're going to get started with the basic introductions now. And so to create a new Google Sheet, the way that I would recommend to do it is from Google Drive. And this is because you want to organize the location of your sheet immediately before you start, so you don't have to worry about finding it later. So here I am in FIF Cambodia, Admin Financial Tracking. So this is where we keep our financial sheets and financial information. And so I'm just going to go ahead and right click in the empty space here and create a new Google Sheet, or you can click this plus symbol up here, new Google Sheet, same thing. So it'll say, yep, are you sure? Because this is a shared folder. It's going to automatically share this sheet with anybody who has access to this folder. No problem. That's what I want. So you click create and share. It's going to open a sheet. The first thing you do is you give your sheet a title up here. So go ahead and type it test spreadsheet, or you can put your name or whatever you want. And let's just do a few quick overview settings here. So first thing that everybody should just know is that these things are called columns and these things are called rows, right? So that should be fairly familiar with everybody. Rows are basically going left to right. Columns are going up and down. Okay? The next thing we're going to do is talk about your first column here. And this is typically where you would put your headings, right? So what we're going to be doing in this lesson is we're going to be setting up a practice budget sheet. Or rather an expense tracker, and it could be a budget so that you can estimate your costs. Expense tracker, they're kind of going to work the same way. And so I'm going to teach you kind of first the easy way to do this. No, sorry. I'm going to teach you the regular way to do this, and then I'm going to teach you a way that requires a little bit more advanced formulas. However, it will make your life easier. Okay? So, the first thing I want to show you is roughly what this is going to look like when it's done, and then we'll get a little bit more advanced. So, we're going to have date, we're going to have item, we're going to have cost per, and then we're going to have units, and then total. Now, right here, this is basically a financial tracker, right? This is good enough in many cases. So you have the date, you have the name of the item, like what is this thing that I'm buying or want to buy? How much does one cost? How many do I want to buy? And what is the total? So we're going to go ahead and set up these formulas. But before we do that, we're going to get a little bit, we're going to think about the visual design of this as well. So I'm going to take this entire top row, and I can do that instead of just selecting these guys. I'm just going to click on this number 1, and it's going to select the entire first row off into infinity, right? This goes over to the right forever and ever and ever, right? So everything in the top row is going to inherit what I'm about to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to the alignment angle, and I'm going to align these to the center. I'm also going to increase the font size a little bit, and I'm going to make it bold. And so now we have these nice bold headings that are nice and centered. Another thing I'm going to do is come over here to text, here we go, text wrapping. And I'm going to make sure that instead of overflow, it's set to wrap around. And so I'll just show you what that means, is if you type something that is longer than this column is wide, watch what happens to it. So if I press enter here to say, yep, I'm done with this, watch what happens. So it's stacking them on top of each other to make it fit this cell. If I was to select this option, then it kind of overflows into the next cell. Now their costs, it looks like it's in F1, right? We say this by locating the location of this is F1. That's the location of this cell. It looks like their cost is in F1, but it's actually not. It's just stretching over it from the previous cell. And I think that this is a very bad way to see things because it can be very confusing. So I would suggest setting it to wrap. And then one other trick you can do to make it look nice is, again, I'm going to select the entirety of row 1. And here, you're going to look at the vertical alignment and set it to the middle. And so now everything is nicely centered on that cell, and we can now bring this back down to total costs, and it will automatically adjust the height of that row to fit what is there. And so that's how I would set this up. So I would make everything a little bit bigger, a little bit bolder. I would center it, horizontally align it. I would vertically align it to the center, and I would set the text overflow to wrap. That's just my suggestion. All right. So here we have a nice start So we'd say, all right, let's say we're going to start entering our items. So on Monday, January 1st, 1990, I want to buy a car. It's going to cost $1,000 because it's a very cheap car, and I want 2 of them, right? So let's do some formula work, some very, very simple formula work first. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a currency on this cost per. So instead of selecting this cell and setting a currency to make my life easier, so I don't have to deal with this in the future, I'm just going to click on C, the name of the column, and I'm going to come up here to $, and I'm going to click $, and it's automatically going to convert that entire row into dollars, and it's going to ignore the text because it knows, yeah, your text doesn't need to be in dollars. Okay, so that's a good start. Let's do the same thing to total because we know the total cost is going to be $1. So I'm going to select E, and I'm going to set that to currency. Even though we don't have anything there yet, we know eventually we want it to show up in currencies. Now unit is just the number of those things I want, so you don't need to set that to currency. And just note that you can make those changes at the same time if you wanted to by holding Control. So if I was to select C and hold Control and select E and then select G or K or Q, you can select multiple rows or columns at the same time, right? You can even do crazy things like this. So this is by holding Control. Now if I hold Shift, so I'm going to select C, then I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to select E. You guys should know what happens now from our earlier lessons because it behaves very similarly to using these same keys in File Explorer or PowerPoint or any other programs, right? They always design computers to have familiar interfaces across programs. If I select F, holding Shift is going to mean that I'm selecting everything from C to F. See? That's exactly the same as in PowerPoint. If you hold that, or in Explorer. If you click a first file and you hold Shift and you click the last file, it selects everything in between it. If I use Control, I can select individual things. See how these things come back and are relatable again? So I'm going to select C and E. I'm going to make sure they're set to dollars in terms of their format. And now we're going to get into our first formula, and this one's going to be super easy. To begin entering a formula, the first thing you do is you press Enter. And you'll see that you have this little bar up at the top here. This empty space is going to tell you what is in the cell that you're looking at. Each one of these things is called a cell, right? So in E2, right now, what we have in the cell is an equal sign. Now, in this case, I'm going to start typing sum. And sum is just going to... It's not only for summing. This is not only for summing. You can multiply, you can divide, and you can do all sorts of other basic arithmetic using the formula sum. And you'll notice that it pops up with this list of available formulas. Now from now I'm just going to click on that, and what's going to happen is it's going to automatically add a parenthesis. Now if I don't click on that, I can just type the parenthesis myself if I know what I'm doing, right? And it's going to say, okay, he wants this formula, the sum formula. So you can do either way. You can find the formula that you want and click on it, or you can just end that introduction by clicking typing the parentheses yourself. And then what it's going to do is it's going to give you a hint. So it says return the sum of a series of numbers and or cells. So in this case, it's showing us, oh, now we have to put value number 1, and then it's suggesting then you put value number 2, value number 3, and so on and so on and so on, and then at the end you close the parentheses. So this is basically teaching us how to use this formula. So in this case, what I want to do is get the total cost of my car item. And so in this case, it's $1,000 for one, and I want to buy 2 cars. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, and you'll see that instead of typing $1,000 there, it says C2. That is the location of this cell. So C2. And then I'm going to say multiplied by D2, right? So D2 is the number of units. And so for multiply, we use the star symbol. So that's going to be Shift and 8 on your keyboard. And now I'm going to select D2. And that's it. We're done. So I'm going to close the parentheses. I'm going to press Enter. And there we go. We have our first formula, $2,000. So in this case, we've typed equals sum of C2 times D2. All right. Now, I'm going to delete that formula and show you another way to do this. You ready? So I'm going to delete the formula, and we're going to do the same thing, but even easier. Equals this times this. No sum needed. the way in which Google Sheets works, sometimes you don't need to type out the whole formula. And for certain obvious things like simple division and simple arithmetic, you don't even need to put in a formula. You can just literally type equals and then type in what you want it to do. So in this case, we want it to do C2 times D2, right? The cost for 1 unit and then how many units. So it's a multiplication challenge here. So we're going to have the cost in total here. Now, let's say that we had set it up like this. So instead of actually multiplying it, we're actually getting the cost to buy it and then the fee to buy it. That would be an arithmetic problem, not a multiplication problem. So in this case, we would want to have it this C2 plus the fee D2, right? And so all we need to do is the same exact thing, but we're changing that multiplication symbol to a plus symbol. And so now we're getting the result $1,002, right? So we're going to go back to units here. And we're going to go back to multiplication here. I just wanted to make sure you understand that that sum will work with adding, dividing, multiplying, anything you want it to do. So even you see the same result here, equals sum C2 plus D2, it's going to be the same. So I'm going to change this back to a multiplication problem, and to keep my formulas clean, I'm going to get rid of the sum because we really don't need it here. All right, so then we have another date. And in this time, we want to buy a truck. And this one is going to be $2,000, and we're just buying one of them. Oh, you know what? We're going to buy 3 of them. So where's my formula? Do I have to type this again, like equals this times this? Do I have to do that? No. In fact, you'll never have to type that again. All you have to do is come up to your first total cost, come to the corner here, click and hold on that little button, and drag it down as much as you'd like it to go. And that formula is transposing itself downward. And what do I mean by transpose? Right here, it's looking at Charlie and Delta, so C2 and D2. It's looking at these 2 columns, but specifically, it's looking at row number 2, because we are on row number 2, and that's where I've told it to look. I've told it to look at this cell and this cell. And when I drag that down, it actually knows that that means I want it to go down a row in terms of where it's looking. So now it's looking at C3, D3. The next one is going to look at C4, C5, C6, and so on forever. And so by dragging these formulas down, and you can do this from anywhere, right? If I do this from here, right, this is C7, so the one under it should be C8, C9, and so on. So if I go to C7 and I drag this down again even further, everything is still correct. You see, C7, C8, C9, C10, everything is still correct. 25 is there, 25. So everything is kind of working properly. Yeah, and so you can just drag from here to have that formula spread down automatically. And then you can just enter your numbers as you see fit. So if we have 100 and we're buying one of them, it's going to automatically fill that as 100. If we have 250 and we're buying 4 of them or 7 of them, there we go. And then most usefully, if we have something strange like, 72.25 or 2374, whatever, some tiny fraction of a cent, and we have 15 of them, it's going to automatically calculate those more fractional numbers for us to keep our lives easier. And so there you go. I mean, this is the most fundamental, basic way to use Google Spreadsheets to make a simple budget. And then, of course, what we can do is we can say, well, that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and use delete or backspace to erase those extra formulas. So now we want to make the total. So I'm going to type in total here. And now in this case, you do need to type sum. So I'm going to press equal sum. And watch what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to select this first cell, hold the mouse down, and just drag a box all the way to there. And then close the parentheses to finish your formula. And then enter. And so now I can make these nice and big and bold, and maybe I'll make it like red or color or something. And so now you've got this little chart showing, what you want to buy. Maybe the date you would only need if this is an expenses sheet. If this is a proposal or a budget, you don't need the date because you don't know when you're going to spend it. You would just need a little thing like that, and you have your little prepared budget of how much things are going to cost. And this is very useful if you're planning a trip ahead of time. You can figure out how much is this trip going to cost you, what do you need for what, and this is a nice and easy way to put it in. And there's one other trick that I'll just show you here before we go on to more advanced stuff. I'm going to go ahead and add another column in here. So let's say we have lunch. Let's say we have food, right? So we're buying food for our students. And so one meal is going to be $3. And we're actually doing 2 meals. So we're doing breakfast and lunch, let's say. So I'd put that as 2. But now we have 30 students. So another trick you can do is to add an extra column here, right? This will keep it easier for you to manage. So I'm going to select column E, right-click it, and then look what I can do. Insert 1 to the left. And so what that means is it's going to insert a new column to the left of my current column. And so now what I'm going to type is... So once you've got this unit multiplier in here, I'm just going to go ahead and change this formula. I'm just going to add one extra thing, which is going to be times this. So now you're doing 3 runs. And in this case, what this means is if you're not multiplying the unit, you would just put 1 there. We don't need this to be dollars. So we're just going to format this to regular number. So if you have no multiplier on it, you would put number 1. Let's drag that formula down again. So no multiplier just gets a 1, and that basically will say, nope, no multiplier, it's just this times this, and then nothing else. But in some cases, for food, for example, we've budgeted $3 per meal. We're doing 2 meals, and we have 10 students. So now we would be able to get an accurate budget like that. So you can add as many of these kind of multipliers as you want. This could be like, how much does it cost for 1 unit might be registering a day's wages, and then you might have the number of days that you're needing that contract worker employed, but then maybe you're having 2 contract workers work at the same time. So you could have that all come in as one line rather than having to have 2 duplicate lines. All right. So that's just a little trick. I'm going to go ahead and delete this unit multiplier column because I don't need that for our introduction lesson. I just wanted to remind you that you can do that if necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this column. You'll notice that that breaks our formula because we've got a column here referenced that is not in existence. So I'm just going to come up to our formula here, remove that part, press enter, and then I'll drag this down again, replacing the old ones. Okay? So that's all great. And now I'm going to teach you a couple tricks. And so the first trick is if you have a very long sheet that you need to prepare, it's kind of annoying to have to keep dragging this thing down forever and ever and ever. So we're going to use a couple tricks to not have to do that, to calculate this stuff automatically. And in the process, you're going to learn a few new formulas. So I think we're going to wrap up this first very basic introduction video here, and then we'll move into expanding this to more complex formulas in the next video. So here we go. Get ready, guys.